everyone? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Arcades Anonymous, Arcade Nerds United. My name is Todd. I am the host of this group of fabulous guys. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. And happy Goku Day if you don't know that it's Goku Day. I don't know if everybody knows that it's Goku Day. So, how is everybody?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
All right, you got to be a little more lively than that. We've been talking for the
We're
last 30
awesome,
minutes.
man. We're happy to be here.
So, love Tuesday.
Welcome our special guest, RetroLizard. Thank you, sir, for joining us. We really appreciate you coming on the show tonight.
Really appreciate the invite, guys. It's really awesome that you guys invited me on your show. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank you. So, how was y'all's weekend?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Didn't do much, but it was good. It's nice
Awesome.
in Buffalo. We got some yard work done, cleaned the pool, hung out with the kiddos, did some soccer practice. It was fun. Yeah.
Awesome. Chaotic, how about you, buddy?
I worked all weekend.
You worked?
Oh, man.
Oh,
shit. I did too, so that's what it is.
Yeah.
Matt, where did you adventure this week?
Exactly.
We know you always go out on adventures. So.
Yeah, we took PTO and we went camping on the Buffalo River in the Arkansas. So, yeah, we went where our phone became a camera. And so no cell coverage and just hung out by, the water going by. Yeah, I'm not rubbing it in, but yeah, it was a good time.
Dude,
nice.
I admire you, man. I do. It's awesome. Well, guys, let's get this can't even talk tonight. Show started. So, RetroLizard, tell us a little bit about yourself, buddy. I know a lot of people in the community know who you are, but tell us a lot about yourself, man.
I am RetroLizard. My name's Joel. In Buffalo, New York. I build custom arcades, as you can see behind me. Tonight we're in the shop, which is just my garage. Nothing too crazy. I do it all, though. I do light gun arcades, do pedestals, 4K racers, 2 players, 4 players, and I'm working on a flying-only build with Thrustmaster flight sticks.
Wow.
So I need to find that shell. Maybe that shooter behind me with that angle could be the right angle to use that stick on, but I don't know yet. But yeah,
like an afterburner, yeah?
Afterburner, yeah. Oh, dude. Afterburner, gotta love playing that with a flight stick, dude. That's so much fun.
Oh, man.
Pinball machines, too. Do pinball machines. Plus, I still do arcade one-up mods here and there. They're not the most popular ones for me to do anymore because I do the customs, but still do the arcade one-up mods. Got a website, RetroLizardsCustomArcades.com. Got the Facebook page, too. And then on top of that, I don't really play these. I'm a gamer. I collect video games and I like collecting kiosks. I got a Nintendo 64 kiosk. I got a Nintendo Switch kiosk. I got a original Sega Genesis kiosk.
Really?
With the DS16 inside it that does the 6-game Switch. So I like collecting video games myself. I'm a gamer at heart.
Yeah.
That's where we all started, right?
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Absolutely. Don't you collect demo cartridges as well?
Specifically for 64.
Yes,
for
sir.
Nintendo 64. At one point, I was going for the whole 296 collection, the North American 296.
Uh-huh.
Some might argue it's 297 due to F1 Brazil, but in my opinion, I really think it's just 296. That was years ago, maybe 5-7 years ago. I was collecting that, and in 2020, I sold off that whole collection, made it to 215 Nintendo 64 carts. Sold it all off, right when lockdown hit. I sold off my entire gaming collection. I had a lot more than that too, but I got back into gaming. I got back into game collecting, and now I love the Nintendo 64. It's such a fun system for me, and it's a really fun system to just collect for. So instead of going for the 296, I decided to go for only the 26, not for resale carts, especially since I have the Nintendo 64 kiosk from Toys R Us. So on those. I want to collect more of the rare stuff and valuable stuff as opposed to just kind of having a ton of games. So some of those demo carts are really rare. Like I have the Turok 2 demo. There was only 2 of them that were ever made. There was one for North America, and then there was a PAL version. And it's an actual demo of the game, and it's not the actual release of the game. I believe it only has a couple levels. And then the 2 versions are also different from each other. Like they have different weapons that aren't in the actual game itself too. That demo, the PAL version is more rare than the North American version, but it's not worth as much as the North American version. North American version goes for about $2,000 right now, and the PAL version is maybe worth $800 to $1,200. So I got one of those. I got seen it for a good price, and I'm like, I got to do it.
Yeah. Oh, boy, I don't know.
So I love Nintendo 64 though. So collecting for that system is really fun, and just having those kiosks in the basement for display purposes and playing is really fun too. Because the kids can go down there and they can play those, and you don't have to worry about them messing anything up because it's the store retail, kiosk.
Yep.
That was meant for kids to just grab it and play it and just go to town with
it.
it. Exactly, Matt. Yeah, yank it around. Now, when they're doing that to my Sega kiosk, I'm like, oh, don't do that. But it's not gonna break. It's not. If it would have broke, it would have broke 30 years ago. Type of thing.
No doubt.
I actually have 2 more kiosks that are going to be delivered tomorrow. I have an empty kiosk that is a kid space. I don't know if you guys know what a kid space kiosk is. They're from back in the day, and still currently, actually, they sell to doctor's offices only.
Okay.
So you can only go to, if you went to a doctor's office and you seen like a Nintendo 64 or a GameCube or an Xbox in like a case to play, that was a kid space kiosk. I have 2 of those getting delivered tomorrow. One of them's empty, and I'm not too sure what I want to do with it yet. And the other one is a GameCube kiosk. And I got them for a really good price from a dude that was selling the 64 kiosk on eBay. I messaged him because I seen he had other stuff in the background. Like, what else you got back there, man? What do you want to sell those for? So I got a pretty good deal on that one, on those 2, and they're getting delivered tomorrow. So they're coming from Maryland, I think.
Wow.
How with having that many kiosks in one place, is it pretty easy for you to space it out, or is it kind of?
Yes and no. My virgin bunker.
Okay.
That's what my wife calls my little man cave. It's like 20 by 20.
Okay.
And it's filled right around every single edge. That's where I used to have my arcades down there.
Is that on?
What?
Have you
What's
done
that?
a tour on like YouTube?
I have, yeah. I got a little game room tour 2023 on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
To show that
check that out, guys. If y'all haven't checked it out, I haven't checked it out yet. I'm gonna definitely do that.
Yeah, you can check it out. You can kind of see how the space is. So it's cramped in there. I'm gonna move some stuff around and pull some stuff out of there to make more room for the other 2 that are going down there. But it's kind of spacious. It's my little den.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I'll trade you a 10 by 10 for a 20 by 20 space.
And I'll trade you guys for a 2-car garage. Sometimes when it depends on how you have the camera and how you look at the videos, it could look pretty big, but there's really only like another 15 feet going that way, and there's not much else, and it's packed full of boxes and 3 more arcades over there.
Space is just our enemy. I mean, if we could have as much space as we want, we would be happy as we could be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the wife won't let me move rooms to the next part of the basement either.
Yeah, my wife won't let me take over parts of the house, so I'm lost. So tell me a little bit more about like your website, what you offer, and things like that.
So the website, what's offered on the website? What do we got? We got Arcade 1-Up mods. We got a product collections. If you go to my website and you click on the little hamburger drop down, it'll give you product collections. You click on that, and then you can see everything that's in there. And I got to categorize as best as I could, at least, between 2-player mods or 2-player arcades, 4 players, Arcade 1-Up section, pinball section, the pre-configured computers, the external drives that people can buy. What else? I just threw a pedestal category up there yesterday because people are really interested in pedestals. So, and I've made 3 different versions of a pedestal between just a trackball only, 4-player and 2-player. So I got a couple of options up there for the pedestal arcades too. And that's really it. There's subcategories for everything. If you click on certain things, you have the drop down. Like if you're looking for a 4K arcade for like Light Gun, you would go to the Light Gun arcade section and then click the drop down on the full size, and then you can see the options for 4K. And I have graphics that are already done that I've done plenty of times. Like I have House of Dead Virtual Cop, Time Crisis. But Time Crisis, that's the first one that I've done. I didn't do those graphics. I have a couple other on there. Area 51, Rambo, I think I threw up there. And but if somebody wants custom graphics too, there's also an option for custom graphics. Might take me a little bit longer than usual right now to create a custom graphic, but if you throw the idea at me, I can pretty much do it. And I always ask customers to try to stick to, let's replicate an arcade, or let's stick to like a theme. Let's not get too crazy with it. Replicating arcades is really fun to design when you're doing it custom like. So the House of Dead and Virtual Cop, I pretty much almost got those spot on. Those come out really nice. And as you can see, I got a Resident Evil one back there. You can see Leon right there.
Yeah.
I don't know how well you guys can see it right now, but that's Leon. And that is a custom 4K pedestal running a my 20 terabyte hard drive.
Huh.
It's got about 16,500 games on it. And it's running a Ryzen 5, 16 gigs of RAM, and a 1080 Ti. I call that my Mega Lizard pedestal. And how original,
Lizard.
right?
Awesome.
Now, what makes it a Mega is, the PC inside it and the hard drive, but then all the accessories that come with it too. It's 4-player with a 4-way stick too, so you can play your Dig Dug and your Donkey Kongs. Then it comes with the Ultimark 360 flight stick, the GRS spinner, the Glenn's Retro Show spinner. I won't use any other spinners. Yeah. And then it also comes with 2 Gun for IR light guns and 2 Xbox controllers for console games, because there's a lot of console games on there and some modern games. It's got modern games on that will go up to the newest modern game I have is Hogwarts.
No way.
No.
Yeah, that's on there. So
That's
full
awesome.
game. I think it might be the special edition too. I'm not positive, but Hogwarts is on there. WWE 2K23 is on there. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Halo Master Chief Collection, Halo Infinite's on there. It's got, it's got the God of War, the one that came out for PS4. That one's on there. I tried to put some more modernized games on there for the technology that it's running and for the prices too. Sometimes
Correct.
I think my prices are a little steep, but then I look at other websites and I'm like, I might be cheap.
Hey,
So
quality over quantity.
Yep.
that's it. Yeah,
Better
quality
products. You get what you pay for.
right. Some people throw out those 30, 40,000 builds, on like a drive that size, and I'm like, I don't know how they get that high in the first place with all those games, because like I said, I got 16,500 games on that one, and it's running 20 terabytes, and 8 terabytes alone are the 360 collection. So I don't know how people get that high with those 30, 40,000 builds, but at the same time, you're never going to play 30 or 40,000 games.
Never.
There's no way. So I try to stick to the major consoles and maybe stray a little bit from there too. Like I threw the Wonder Swans on there, which were, I don't know if you guys know what Wonder Swan is. That's pretty much like the Neo Geo or Japanese version of the Game Boy. I thought those were cool. I don't know what the hell they're saying, but they're fun to play.
Figure it out, right?
Yeah, they're cute games. Just hit A and keep moving.
There you go. Papa Brad asked you, how does the $200 gun PC work with Sendin? Could I hook that mod up to an ALU as a screen or a big TV?
I can't confirm if you can hook it up to an ALU or not. Actually, you can. Matt, you hooked it up to your ALU. Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. You did a video and I watched it. So it does hook up to the ALU. You might want to ask Matt how he did it, though, because I don't know how you would connect it to the ALU. But you can hook it up to a big TV. It runs VGA. So you would need a VGA to HDMI, or your TV would need a VGA input to plug it in. And then you're going to need something separate for sound, because VGA obviously doesn't put out sound. But it's a Batacera build, and it's running Batacera 35. The way that works is Batacera, those devs, shout out to them because they're geniuses for this. They made it plug and play. They really did.
Yep.
All you need a controller plugged in for every light gun you have. So if you're just going to run it on a TV, you would need an Xbox controller wired, plugged into the box, and then your light gun plugged into the box too. If you want to do 2 players, you need a player 2 Xbox controller, and then your player 2 gun plugged into it. And it's just as advertised. It's literally plug and play. You don't have to calibrate it. If you do, You can hold the left D-pad button on the sending gun, and you can calibrate it on the screen, and it's going to be pretty spot on. You know, some of the main games are going to be a little off, but you can also go into those service menus if needed and calibrate from there too. Carnival actually needs to be calibrated every time you plug the gun in for the first time. So if you plug in your sending gun for the first time, Matt, if you don't have that working, if you go to Carnival and open up the service menu, you can calibrate your guns.
Yes, sir.
But it is, I think it's the best option for the sending gun, honestly. You know, people will mess around with it on a Windows 10 PC and they're going to have a hard time. Just download Batacera and use Batacera for it because you won't have to do anything. The border automatically turns on. I don't know how they did that.
Yeah, I'll preach. You love his way, like that's. I even did that video. Like just give him some love. Sub the RetroLizard, because literally you plug it in, it gives you a white box, and you start shooting. Like this is the moment you put that build on whatever it is, a Pi or an old janky laptop, it'll run up. I mean your PC can be a potato and it will run on it. And so
yeah,
it's insane.
It will run on a PC low enough. What am I thinking of? A duo core. Yep. It'll run on a PC that's a dual core. Perfectly fine. You shouldn't have any issues with it at all, and you can go up from there. But running it on a cheap Dell i5 without a graphic card inside it, you know, if you get one for 20, 30, 40 bucks off Marketplace for 50 bucks, it'll run just fine.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, my mini profile up there, it's just built in. It's an i5 with a built-in GPU, and it runs fine.
Minimum 4 gigabytes to run it too. You don't even need 8.
Yeah. Well, Brad, obviously appreciate the answer, so appreciate that as well.
Thank you.
It looks like he has a send in and he wants to just expand his game options. So, which is understandable. The more you can get, the better.
Right. You can build off the Batacera build too. I have it on Arcade Punks. If people don't understand how to download and burn it to an SSD drive, I do sell it. So that's for those people who are not sure what they're doing and they just want to buy it ready to set up and go. But it's a 256 SSD, and I believe it has maybe another 30, 40 gigabytes open on it, so you can still add a few games to it if you want to.
Yep.
Or you could always plug in another drive and make sure the games run from that drive into that if needed too. So there's always a way to expand it.
True. Yeah, I even added a couple Wii games. So it was a Ghost Squad and what else? Just a handful of them. There's one called Pirate Blast, is where you shoot water guns for kids. So it was, gun appropriate for like a toddler coming to the house. Yeah. Yeah, the build is insane.
So Joel, what's probably your top, without giving out sales data or anything like that, what's probably your top item that you sell on your website?
The top item is the light gun arcades. That's my number one. People love those, and I sell more Super Jolt arcades, which is the top fire recoil. Yeah. I sell more of those than I do just the regular ones too. But it's the light gun arcade, and if you look behind me, go that way with it. That's actually the first one of a new design. I don't have a CNC machine, so I use Game Room Solutions. A lot of people give them flack, but I've really never had an issue with that company at all, and I've been using it for 3 years. Any small issue I've had, they've always resolved it. I just have to send them an email with proof that I have an issue, and I get my stuff with that when needed. But that's a new design. That one's called their Carnival Cap, and it's the same 32-inch light gun arcade that they build, except that they made it with a slant front. And it looks more authentic. It looks more like an Area 51 cab to me. I just got it together today for the first time. I've had it sitting here for about a month now that I needed room to pull it out of the box. But I think with that new design, people are going to like that a lot more instead of that. My old design, or their old design was just a flat front and then a shelf on the top of it where you put the guns on the inside. And their midsize had the slant front just like that. And I've been saying for years, like, God, I wish that they would put out a new cab, and then they did. And there it is. But yeah, so the light gun arcade is my number one that I sell on there all the time. Number two would be the racers.
Makes sense. I mean, it's what everybody really wants. I mean, send-in has just, ever since iArcade's come out with ability to use the send-in and whatnot, I mean, that's what everybody talks about. So I'm really not surprised that those are your tops.
Yeah, light guns are so much fun too. I mean, how can you not sit there and enjoy playing like something like Rambo or Transformers, or even just go back to Lethal Enforcers, Area 51, Revolution X, or even Duck Hunt.
Yeah, the nostalgia of getting to play those light gun games from when we had CRTs and everything else.
Which is true. Yeah, when I got my light gun set up, like that was the first thing I played. It's like you feel wonky and said, I just paid $250 to play, Duck Hunt, but that's the first game I ever played.
Yeah. No doubt.
People are paying a couple $1,000s on the big ones to play Duck Hunt.
There you go.
But it's nostalgia. It's a lot of fun, and it's fun with the kids too. And it doesn't really matter what the age, as long as they can pick up the gun and kind of aim it, they're having fun, and that's all that really matters.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no doubt. Caddick, you got anything to say, buddy? You've been kind of quiet.
Man, I'm just enamored by this guy.
You want to share your screen?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'll bring it back up once you share it.
Hold on. I don't know what it is. Sorry, guys.
No worries.
No worries here.
I can't fucking believe we're taking so long.
I know, right?
I'm kidding.
You let me down, Chaotic. You let me down.
I know. I'm letting everybody down. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Da-da.
Looks like
how's everybody doing?
Actually,
Yeah,
one of the
Operation Thunderbolt.
That's fine.
One of the guys in the group or in the comments, David G. That's his Resident Evil.
That's his. Oh wow.
Yeah, that's
no
his.
way. Congrats,
all right, I'm going to share this. So what we got here, Chaotic?
So I found RetroLizard very long time ago. Very long time ago. Probably about, I want to say it's been almost 2 years now. I found him doing a 4-player mod to his NBA Jam cabinet. And I just followed it to a T every step of the way. And this is what I came up with. To me, it looked very similar to his. But, just this guy's inspiration, man. Like, he's a great teacher. The way that he, describes things and explains things that you need, he made it very easy for me to follow. And he inspired me so much that I created my own personal cabinets for family. And, I even had one customer that bought a cabinet from me. And it's right here. It's a 32-inch 4-player with a trackball. And that had over like 6,000 games all the way up to PS3. Because I had a PC in it. But
and you made that by hand?
And I built that by hand.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's
so cool.
Measured everything by hand and just built it and put it together. And dude was super happy with it. It weighed a ton. But even my daughter, I made her a bar top, and I painted it like a Lisa Frank folder. But she was super happy with that. She had most of the console games on it. I went to Arcade Punks and got the I forget the guy's name. He made a kids only build. Joe Dangerous or something like that. But he made a kids only build for her for a Raspberry Pi 4, and that came out great. So
it looks great. All those look great.
It's because of people like Joel that I say thank you.
It's true.
You do so much more for this community than you could ever know. And I know you don't get that much recognition, about it, but people have followed. That. People have followed your videos. People have followed you, and I am living proof of that. That what you've put out there, you inspired somebody else to do, and that's because of you.
Yeah.
See, that makes me want to put out more stuff.
Yeah, by all means, man. Awesome, by all means.
I'm so happy that I was able to help you and give you inspiration to do that, especially on the Jam. I like to take the credit that I was the first person to ever mod the NBA Jam. I had it modded within a week that it was released for a customer.
Awesome.
Customer, he was waiting on a 4-player. He didn't want turtles, and this was before like I did graphics and stuff. Well, not before, but he didn't want to order graphics and put it on the turtles. This is back in the Gen 1 days.
Yeah.
And he found out that the NBA Jam was getting released. He pre-ordered it from Best Buy. The day it got delivered to his house, he brought it to mine and said, "Bring it back to me when you're done." And that was within like a week of it being released. And I had it done within a couple days after that. So I like to take the little claim that I was the first person to mod the NBA Jam. And I did that first one. If you the second player, I did those buttons wrong because when you did the turtles, you would go like kind of to the right as you were drilling the buttons.
Mhm.
And on the NBA Jam, you can't do 2 to the right. You have to only do 1 to the right and then 1 to the left. So it's actually a little bit lower than the Turtles mod was going to be. And I thought I was going to do that when I thought about that after the fact that I drilled that hole. And I was like, oh, I'll be able to do another one. So, I mean, first time you make the mistake, you learn from the mistake. And sometimes it happens, you know. But yeah, so that's really awesome, though, that you did that and I was able to do it. What are those? You're running a Pi in all of those, except for the main one?
I'm running a Pi in the NBA Jam, running a Pi in the bar top, and I'm running a i5 PC in the 32-inch, the big cabinet, big boy.
What did you in the big boy? What did you wire it up with? Did you use the Amazon stuff, or did you use like an iPack?
I used Amazon stuff.
Amazon stuff. Okay, that's fun. I actually moved over to using iPacks on the bigger builds.
I would like to learn more about that. So
the iPack, I'll tell you why I love the iPack. iPack, if whoever's not familiar with it, it gives out keyboard inputs for every input that it has. You can change it over to an X input if needed, but for the most part, it's easier to just run it in the keyboard input. So on a bigger computer build, for like the 20, like my 20 terabyte build, the pedestal behind me, I have an iPack 4 wired up with that one. And the reason why I like that is because when you're using controllers or light guns or adding more stuff to it, a lot of times Windows PCs will change your inputs, and it'll change so sometimes it'll change your player 1 from player 2, and then player 3 will become player 4. You know, Windows will do that automatically. Sometimes
I ran into that issue.
Yeah, see? So I ran into that issue all the time, and I was over it, and I switched over. I tried using the iPack once, and I realized that it gave off the keyboard input. So every game that is on my machine that is an arcade game, I can set it to just configure it with the iPack, and then every game that's a console game, I can run it with an Xbox controller, and I never have to worry about that input changing.
Yeah.
You know, the Xbox controller, as long as that input doesn't matter, because whichever one you turn on first is going to be player 1. And then whichever one you turn on second is going to be player 2. That's how the Xbox controller will work. But so it stops conflicting with each other is where I ran into, because using the Amazon buttons on the bigger builds, the Xbox controllers were conflicting with the EG starts encoders, and then my light guns were conflicting with the EG starts encoders. And I'm like, this is too much stress. I'm like, I need something that has to be way easier. And then so sometimes people like, well, if you get those wire kits from Amazon, those wires are so short. Some of them are 12 inches long, some of them are 18 inches long. Tmolding.com sells 3.5 foot wires for, I think they're 50 cents each. And they have the skinny connection, which is the 110, and then they have the fat connection for the micro switch, which I think is 147. Yeah, there we go, 187. Yeah, it's got the fat. So you can buy either one of those, and you can wire it up, and you can still use the Amazon buttons, because the Amazon buttons are the same ones that you're getting from tmolding.com or even DIY Retro. DIY Retro might be a little bit better quality, but you can still buy that Amazon 4-player kit, and then you can wire it up with that to the iPack with those 3.5 foot long wires, and then you don't have to worry about splicing or connecting. I didn't know that at first, that they were selling that, until maybe a year ago. I did a Terminator build. It was a 4-player Terminator, 26 terabyte build for a customer. It took me a year to build it. And the first player and the second player are the Glenn's Retro Show's Tron sticks. And then player 2 or player 3 and player 4 are just hap sticks. And then it had a 4-way stick inside it too. Plus it had 2 spinners and trackball. That's a lot of shit.
Yeah.
It's got 2 gun for IRs too, plus 2 Xbox controllers. That's a lot of shit that guy had in it. But I'm like, there's no way I can run these EG Stairs controllers, with those hookups. There's no way. So I did it with the iPad 4, and I didn't know about the 3.5 foot long wires. So I spliced every single wire to make them longer with butt connectors. And man, that took me like 4 days to wire that tech. So save yourself some time and get the 3.5 foot long wires. And then you can buy daisy chain ground. They sell the same. They sell the daisy chains. You probably need about 2 or 3 of them to do like a 4-player deck. But you can buy the daisy chain ground because the iPad only has 2 slots for the ground wire, and so you don't want to put 7 wires into those slots, obviously. So you can just buy the daisy chain those ground wires together, plug it into the slot, and then you're good to go. As long as your buttons you didn't miss a button, single one of them will work.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in my opinion, the iPad is just worth it in the long run when you're doing a bigger PC build like that. Chaotic, if you ever do another big build like that, try the iPad, and then
definitely 2
Xbox controllers with it too.
Definitely.
So
the guy wanted, the guy wanted 2 Xbox controllers, 2 sending light guns, and the trackball and the 4-player deck. And I was just like, hey man, you're gonna have to pick something, and you're gonna have to get the rest of it yourself. I'm
not doing all of it.
I was like, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. This is my first ever time doing this, and I'm no professional.
Totally learning process on that one too.
Exactly. I mean, it took me like 3 weeks just to. Oh yeah, he wanted a driving wheel too, and I stuffed that in the bottom of the cabinet.
Wow!
But I was like, here, you can mount the wheel to the control panel when you want to play a driving game, and just plug and play. It's a Logitech. It's a plug and play. I set it up so it's plug and play for you. That took me like 3 weeks in order to map every control for every name game.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So I refuse to offer a wheel on the multi-cades like that. I'm like, that's just doing too much. Like, you already got your flight stick, you got your 2 Xbox controllers, you got your 2 light guns, you got your spinner. Like, I can't do another configuration.
Yeah. And he's like, what if I pay you, like 6 months later, he's like, what if I pay you just to come out to the house and add some more stuff to it? I'm like, I guess.
So what would you say is your favorite build? What's all-time favorite build that you've ever done?
All-time favorite build actually would be the Terminator that I mentioned.
Okay.
I think that would be my most unique. That would be my biggest build I ever did, and my most unique control deck. And the uniqueness was the Tron flight sticks for player 1 and player 2. Plus, that also had a 360 flight stick on it too. So it had 3 of them, because the Tron flight sticks are just 8-way sticks, and if you want to play like Star Wars Battle Pod, you need an analog stick. And with everything we were putting on it, I'm like, you can't play Battle Pod with a controller. Like, we gotta use another flight stick here. And he was like, okay,
sure, add it on.
Okay. He's like, okay, let's do it. He just wanted it. He wanted it to work. He was a customer of a different company that I don't really want to mention. And his arcade turned into a paperweight, and he can only really play MAME games on it. He got it. He didn't know that he had to configure the system, and the only thing that would be configured was MAME. So he had all this stuff put on it, and he didn't know how to do it. And he spent, up to $8,000 on this thing. Mm-hmm. So, and he couldn't enjoy it. And I did a Star Wars mod for him. Shout out to B's in the chats.
Yep.
I did a Star Wars mod for him, and he kept on coming back for stuff. And he told me, he's like, he actually had 32 terabytes worth of games that he purchased. And he's like, can I send these to you and see what you can do with it? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, and you're going to build me an arcade? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you're paying for it, but yeah, I'll do it. I'm like, this is going to take a really long time, and I did take I think I actually took about a year and a half, actually, not a year, to build it because I was going through those drives and pulling off what didn't work and testing games and looking at systems, and I knocked it down to 26 terabytes is what I knocked it down to. I think he has the entire PS3 collection, if not most of it. There was a bunch. I started going through it, and there was a bunch of games that weren't working, and there's like over 1,000 games on it. And at one point, I was like, man, I'm like, you just gotta kind of have to play and figure out which ones work and which ones don't, because it's a lot. So we're just gonna continue on to keep those games on there. But his idea was the Tron flight sticks, and the reason being was because he wanted to play games like Virtual On and a couple of the main games with the twin sticks. He wanted twin stick playing games is what he wanted. There's a couple tank games that use the twin sticks, and I did showcase videos with the twin sticks, and that was a lot of fun playing with dual flight sticks like that. I was playing 1942, playing both players, just jamming out with both sticks. This is awesome. I wired the Tron stick trigger to the A button on the iPad. So the A button and the Tron flight stick were the same exact button. So if he wanted to alternate between games or whichever game he was playing. So if he was playing Ninja Turtles, and he wanted to use the actual buttons, he could use the buttons, or he could just use the Tron flight stick to hit the guys with it. So I think that was my most unique and most biggest build, and it was a really fun one to do because I learned a lot from it. And I really like that build a lot. I tell customers and I tell people about that build all the time. I'll never do another one like that, probably. Okay. Not at least 26 terabytes. That's why I have the 20 terabyte drive. I took a lot of the PS3 games that weren't working and knocked them off. I think I have like 127 PS3 games that work, or most of them work. Right. A couple of them might be in there that don't, but So that was a really cool one. So and it got that was the first time I made a custom theme for Big Box. I took the default Big Box theme and I edited the images, and I made it all Terminator images. So everything he scrolled through would be it would flip Terminator for every single system that was on there. And I think it was running something like 21, 26 systems, something like that. It was in the mid to high 20s that it was running for systems.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, do you still do Guitar Hero builds?
I do that too. I have 5 of them.
One of my favorite cabs.
I'm going to be building 5 of them at once.
5 of them at once.
Yeah, I've been kind of slacking. I shouldn't say slacking on building, but I'm really behind on building arcades. So I'm at the point where people continue ordering. So right now I have 5 Guitar Heroes on order. So I'm just going to build all 5 of them at once, and then get them out of the garage and keep moving on. So it doesn't matter if you ordered it last week or 6 months ago. You're going to all 5 of them are going to get done at once.
Right.
So, a couple of them are Metallica. I'm really excited to do that because I haven't done the Metallica graphic yet. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited to build a couple of them with the Metallica graphic.
Oh, I would love one.
I think there is 3 full sizes, and those have the RGB grills on the front to give it that effect too. So that's pretty cool.
I would love one.
Yeah, like we still play Rock Band and Guitar Hero probably 4 or 5 times a year at the house. Like everybody will come over, and then we'll just get all the instruments out and we just play them. And so that's like at the top of the food chain for me. Is like because it never gets old, right?
Right. No, it doesn't. Never gets old. And with Clone Hero being on there, people put out new Clone Hero stuff all the time. So it's the actual Clone Hero build. It's not like Clone Hero isn't a hack or anything. So you can continue to download Clone Hero songs as they come out that people make them. So that tab will only increase with songs as you have it. So the only thing that sucks is you can't use a Rock Band controller on it. Like you can't use the drums. You can only use the guitars because it needs the RAFnet adapters in order to convert over for direct input.
Quick question. I have an Xbox One Guitar Hero guitar. Would that work?
No. Has to be a Wii guitar.
Has to be a Wii guitar.
Yeah.
Thankfully, those are cheapest.
They're still like $65.
They're hard to find.
Yeah. So eBay and Amazon had them for 60-ish, but I recently was seeing them for 100, so I might have to go back to eBay and getting them off of eBay.
Well, I also saw on eBay where they were making knockoff Wii guitars.
Yeah, I haven't tried that yet. I'm kind of afraid to because I don't want to spend the money on it and then be like, oh shit, that was a waste. I kind of like the authentic thing though, because like even when I build the big boys, I got the Wii collection on there, and you know they play better with real Wii remotes than they do with the third market Wii remotes.
Right.
So I like to use all the real stuff if I can.
Gotcha.
All right, so this is personal. Mainly, hopefully, it'll drum up like business this size. So the two you offer 2 hard drives. One's for your driving cab, and the other's for the ALP. Like, can you break down what's on them? And because those are like within, I would say within a month or so, like one of those is coming home with me. So can you tell? So what's on your hard drive for your driving cab, and then what's on the hard drive for your ALP?
The driving cab, it's got 196 games on it, racing only. I handpicked a lot of the ones that were going for console. It's mainly arcade and then a few Windows sims. So arcade, we're talking every main racer. I believe there's 77 of them. Then you have every Model 2 racer, every Model 3 racer, Techno Parrot. There are 29 Techno Parrot racers on there, excluding 3 Fast and Furious games.
Yeah.
It does not have drift, it does not have supercars, and it does not have super bikes. You can get those to run, but I had issues with transferring them from computer to computer to computer and drive to drive to drive. So I took those 3 off, and I just left the original Fast and Furious game. And in all fairness, that's actually the worst game on the drive. And then we have some Windows sims on there too. We have like Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, the Windows version. It has Assetto Corsa. It has Automobilista. If you never played those are, basically Gran Turismo on steroids.
Yep.
They're a lot of fun. You do definitely need a sim wheel for that, like a Thrustmaster. The Outrun or the Ridge Racer wheel doesn't play very well because of the pedal. The pedal is, it's a true analog pedal for those games. When you step on the gas just a little bit, you can cruise doing 10 miles an hour. And it's just not slamming the gas and driving.
Yes,
but yeah, so it's got all those on it. As games progress, and I can add more games to it as more racers come out. Techno Parrot racers, those will continue to be released, and as those are free, I'll continue to add those to my build. Anytime a game comes out for free and I have it confirmed working, I usually make a post on my Facebook page or my YouTube, or usually both actually, that I have it working. And if you're a customer, send me a private message or an email, and I'll give you a private download link, and we can schedule a time to log in and do it. It's got GameCube games on it. Brad D and I actually went through a lot of the games, and he helped me link a lot of them. He's a wizard with auto hotkey files.
And apparently you are an enabler.
Yeah, see? But I also added, it's got Naomi on it. It's got a Thomas Wave, so you have Crazy Taxi. And
my wife would be happy if she could get a Crazy Taxi.
And it's the arcade version, and I like if I could get the arcade version over the console version, I'll use that on my build. Because I think that they're just better.
True. Yeah.
Like I don't have. There's a couple versions of Daytona that's on my build. There's Daytona for Model 2, which is the original version, and then you have Daytona 2 for Model 3. But then Techno Parrot also came out with Sega Racing Classic, which is the original Daytona. So that's technically a duplicate, but it's a different version of it, but it's arcade. I don't have like the Dreamcast version on there, and I don't have the Sega Saturn version on there, because you don't need all those many duplicates. That's when to me that's when you're kind of just bloating the drive with stuff.
Yes, sir. And it's a bargain.
So it's pretty much my racer.
It's a bargain too, because if you figure out how much time and effort goes into manipulating each one of those games to work, like I think it's $150 for that hard drive, which is a steal. Like it doesn't matter what your given rate, like what you make an hour and how many hours it took to make that. It's crazy.
Well, it's a service that you're buying. It's a fine line when you're selling these things, because people will say that, oh, you're selling ROMs. Well, in a way, yeah, but in a way, no. I'm selling you a hard drive that has games on it, obviously. And if you break down prices, I'm also providing you a service to remotely log into your computer and set up with you. and it's basically like me doing it for you and building it. The same thing as if I did it here and shipped it to you. It's just a little cheaper, you know. So I mean, if a drive costs $50 and it costs $12 to ship it, and then you know $75 or $100 an hour for a login, you know, to get it up and running, and then customer service. You know, anytime there's an issue with it or replacing games or adding games to it, you know, for as long as needed, that's always there too. You know, that's kind of where you got to look at it. So it's a fine line, you know, when you're doing this, when you're in this business, you just have to make sure that you're not charging for games. Road Blasters is on it. It's a main game. So if it's a MAME racer, if it's a MAME racer, it's on the drive. Road Blasters, Spy Hunter, Cruising USA, Cruising World, California Speed, Bump and Jump, Paper. No, I didn't put Paperboy on it. Paperboy's technically not a racer, and you gotta tap the thing, or you need a trigger or something like that to shoot the paper out. So technically, it's not a racer. So I took it. I don't have it on there. Yeah. So I mean, it's basically you're paying me to configure the system for you, and you're selling a configuration. It's also pre-configured.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have the whole
money.
thing pre-configured.
Yeah. So what about the ALP?
There we are. Everybody started spinning for a second on me.
Uh-oh.
The ALP, the Legends Pinball, that has 448. Uh-oh. That has 448 pinball tables on it. The front end is running Baller. It is the Baller installer that's on it. It's already set up, but you do have to install it. So Baller doesn't transfer over correctly from computer to computer or drive to drive. So the Baller installer is included on there. And the Baller installer, for anybody wondering, is a free download for anybody. You can get it from the Baller's Facebook. So you don't have to purchase a drive to get that at all. It's a free download. And all pinball tables are free to download too. These are all set up and ready to go though. It's 448 tables, and I'll remotely log in with you, and we'll set it up together because you have to run the installer. The installer is very easy to do, but I like to assist the customers with it. We set up your screens together, and then we have to set up your controls on an ALP with Joy to Key. There's a pre-configured Joy to Key out there. I can't think of the name of it. I think it's called Wagner's Tech Talk. Doesn't work with mine. So a lot of people have tried it. I don't know why it doesn't work with mine. I've suggested it to people to use it. It doesn't work. I don't know why. So I sit there and I set up the Joy to Key with the customers for the system, for each system, and I can run you through on how to add games. I can show you where to get games. I can show you how to add an emulator if you want to add Future Pinball or FX3 or something like that, or your Steam account. You know, I can sit there. Pinball setup usually takes about a good hour and a half to do on a login. And, you know, that's me also trying to teach the customer on how to do stuff and add things to it too, so that they're not asking me down the road, hey, can you add this game or that game? Right. Usually I don't do that. So it's like, here, this is how you do it.
Yeah. Awesome. So let's shift gears here a little bit. Everybody's talking about Fast and Furious. Everybody's getting Fast and Furious, and I think you just recently got yours. So you want to give us your hot take on it?
Now, as of today, it runs great. 2 days ago, on Saturday when I got it, I didn't think that highly of it at all. I thought it played pretty bad. The controls were all over the place. I was almost ping-ponging. It felt like a slight upgrade from the Techno Parrot version, but it didn't feel like it was worth it. And then they released the update, and it's a totally different game now. It does not feel like the same. So does not feel like the same game period anymore. The controls are literally night and day. So which was amazing to me, that the update that they released for it changed the controls and changed the gameplay on it that much, that it was able to play that much better. So I think now it's a fantastic cab. It might be their best racer that they put out. I think now that the gameplay is better than the Ridge Racer gameplay. And I definitely think it's better than the Outrun gameplay. So it might be their best one that they put out. I don't think it's a must-have arcade.
Right.
I don't think it's a like a need to have it or anything like that. But if you like racing games and you're looking for a decent single player racer or a multiplayer, because now you can link them, Fast and Furious would definitely be worth it. And I think it's worth the 650 tag. I don't think it's going to drop in price anytime soon at all. Some people are saying wait till fall time, wait till Christmas, wait 6 weeks from now. I think because it's the first one with the link capability, and the name, I think the link capability is just going to hold its value, and I think it's going to be one of those cabs that's going to stay $599 for a long time.
Yes, sir. Yeah, there's some. Go ahead.
Look at X-Men. Look at some of the other ones, and I mean, I know those aren't racers, but they're holding their value and not getting reduced, and I could see Fast and Furious doing that too.
Yeah. You're right. I didn't see X-Men go on sale at all. Maybe $50 off here and there. Nothing too crazy at all on X-Men sales, but I think I agree with you. Yeah, I think if you might see a $50 sale or a $100 sale, there's no way that cab is going anything below $499. I guarantee it. Yeah. So.
And you were talking about getting a second one. Did you ever do it?
No, I didn't want to drop another $650. I thought about it, and I was about to do it because Best Buy is like 5 minutes from my house, and I was about to do it, and then I said to myself, "Can't spend $650 on another one right now. I gotta wait. So, and yeah, the update, PD7 just said down there too. The update just made a huge world of difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how's the shifter?
It's good. It's really good, actually. Shifting in the game feels kind of funky. At first, it didn't feel like that. Like it was keeping up with the shifter. It felt like it was slow, but that update definitely changed that. You can definitely tell that they addressed that a little bit too. The shifting seems faster when you're actually shifting now. But the physical feel of it feels fantastic. It bangs when you shift it, and it feels like an actual shifter. You can compare it to a Logitech shifter. It's not exactly a Logitech, but it's on par with it. And I think their idea with using they used the Blitz controller technology for that. I think that was a really good idea. I don't know how they're making it stick when you're shifting up or shifting down, but it sure as hell does, and it stays right there and it feels good. So, yeah.
Man, now you give me FOMO.
Come on, Caddick. You know you had FOMO the second you saw it.
I mean, I want to know how good it was compared to Ridge Racer first.
I think it's better than Ridge Racer. I have the Ridge Racer cab. I think it's definitely better than.
Yeah,
Ridge
I got
Racer.
it too. I don't ever play it anymore.
Neither do I. Mine's sitting in pieces because I ended up
Mine's
modding
still in
it.
the box.
Yeah, see, I ended up modding mine with the buy stuff encoder.
Yeah. I wanted to buy stuff thing to it, but I want to put a PC in it and maybe do your hard drive build to it.
And I'll log in. Now, what's cool? So here, let's talk about that. The buy stuff encoder. That thing is an Xbox controller.
Correct.
That's what they have it set up as an Xbox controller. And my drive is set up for X input on every single racing game already. So, and I use a program called X output, which converts the wheels into an Xbox controller. And that's how I can do a universal global setup on that one. So when you buy the buy stuff encoder and you buy my racing build, you don't even have to do the X output setup because it's already converted to the Xbox controller once you use that encoder. It's literally plug and play. Wow. It might have to drop in a main configuration to change the shifter so you can shift high and low in certain games. But otherwise, besides like hitting the gas pedal for Nintendo Switch games, it's 100% plug and play. You can just turn it on and you can play it.
Yeah, take my money.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what did you guys think of the Fast and Furious cabs? You guys might not have it, but did you watch any reviews? Did you watch anything going on with it?
Let's go around the horn. Chaotic, what do you think?
I watched yours. I watched Toxins, and I watched Steven from Game Time. The more I watch now after the update, and y'all are talking about after the update, the more it seems like it's more of a complete game. Not a complete game, but like it's more like a polished product, right?
Right.
It works like it's supposed to. So that to me, I've gotten more interested in it now. And then everyone is also saying the same, that it's better than Ridge Racer. It's the best racer they've come out with. So that in turn has also made me really want to get it. I'm just going to hold off for now until a little bit later.
Matt, what do you think? I know you already have your build that you have behind you, but
Yeah.
are you still interested in any way, shape, or form? Or
It would have to go on sale, but then I would want to mod it. So yeah, I watched Joel's video and I watched Toxin's video. Those are the two videos I watched. And so yeah, I'm more intrigued by getting it and then making it, connected with two different, connectivities and just running like Technopara 2 player or yeah, I'm a tinkerer. So yeah, I wouldn't leave it stock.
yeah, for me, I've watched Toxins and I haven't watched anybody else's, so no hard feelings to anybody. It's just his popped up because he's part of our Discord, and I took a look at it while I was driving somewhere, and I wasn't like super impressed when it came out. I wasn't like I gotta have it. I already have the Outrun already here, and as I said, the Ridge Racer is still in the box. So I don't know if it got to a really good price, and I know we talked about that earlier. I don't know if I would buy it or not. I want something with as limited space as I have now. I'm gonna have to do something like Matt has done, and try to make it into a multi racer, so I have multiple games to take up that real estate.
Have you guys ever played Cruisin' Blast?
I got it on Switch.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
On the Switch, yeah. That's when I played. That's the only place I played it too is on the Switch.
Yeah, I played. Was it Zuzu?
Yeah, Yuzu 2.
Yeah.
Fast and Furious is basically Cruisin' Blast on an arcade. So if you enjoy Cruisin' Blast, you're really going to enjoy playing the Fast and Furious. That's the best thing I can compare it to. And obviously, Raw Thrills made both games, and Cruisin' Blast might be the annex or a copy of Fast and Furious. But if you anybody watching or anything play Cruisin' Blast on your Switch and you're iffy about Fast and Furious and you enjoyed Cruisin' Blast, you're really going to enjoy Fast and Furious.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Toxin's review, though. Toxin's review, I liked his review a lot.
Yeah.
My favorite part of his review was when he was kind of doing the gimmick in the beginning, and then he stopped and he's like, "F this." I love that. I'm like, because I started watching. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be another 5 minutes of a dude playing cosplay, and I gotta listen to this. And I started clicking through, and I'm like, oh wait a minute. I love that.
We love Toxin. Hopefully, we can work out something with Toxin because we have invited him to the show. So hopefully, one day he can get some scheduling and come on because we'd love to just talk with him. So scheduling conflicts as always.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we've talked for an hour. I want to thank RetroLizard for coming on, buddy. I really appreciate you spending the time talking to us and just taking time out of your schedule because I know you're a busy man just like everybody else. So I appreciate my co-host, Chaotic and Multicade Matt. Tomorrow, Arcades Anonymous has a really good show, so check out those guys, Outrun the Neon Sun, Phil, Mike, Jester, and they're going to have Retro Bill on and Overtime Arcade. So check those guys out. We really appreciate you doing that. And if you're not part of our Discord, the Arcades Anonymous Discord, please join us there. We'll be back next week. Hopefully we'll have another fantastic show. Thank you again, RetroLizard. We really, really appreciate you, buddy. And anytime you want to come on, hit us up. We'd love to have you on.
Yeah, thank you,
Definitely. Joe. Thank you guys so much for inviting me to do
this.
Guys,
I'm going to send y'all out. We appreciate you. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.